Daniel Cormier was weighing in on Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, and Daniel said Dustin Poirier has to convince himself that he was caught in his first fight with Conor if he wants to win this coming fight with Conor. And I was reading that, and I was staring at it, and I there's got to be so many things a person can learn from Daniel Cormier, right? I mean, what a mind for the sport. But I don't know what he's talking about. Why would Dustin have to convince himself that he was caught by Conor? Why couldn't he acknowledge Conor knocked me out? Why couldn't he be fearful, if not respectful, of that power? Why would it not be something where you would want to change the game plan completely to make sure that that big left hand isn't coming? Why would it not be a breaking down of the film, seeing how you exposed and got a reaction in the first place to ever open the door for the left-handed? I don't know why you'd have to lie to yourself about it. And there's things as an athlete that you have to block from your bubble. That's true. An athlete cannot be completely honest with himself. He can't do that. I don't dismiss that part of it, but let's say that Dustin doesn't convince himself that he got caught. He instead outwardly recognizes what it is that allowed for that shot to come. And he used that urgency to avoid it. He used that fear of repeating it as a way of forcing a completely different fight. For example, not standing and trading with Conor in the first place. By example, breaking Conor down by the numbers and seeing the most fights that Conor finishes, he finishes within the first round. Fewer fights that he finishes in the second round, and almost no fights does he finish once they go past the third. It would seem as though there's other deductions that you could come to and other ways that Poirier could win. I don't know that I love the idea of Dustin blocking this from his bubble or convincing himself of something that did not happen as a false sense of security going into a fight. It would then seem as though you don't get anything from the first fight, and there's got to be some takeaways. There has to be some things that you can learn having had those moments. And we do that with fighters as fighters. We're always storing things away. It could be a workout from 4 years ago where we crossed paths while both in California at the same time, or both in Las Vegas, or we just felt each other for a drill session, but we remember the strength of the other guy or the speed of the other guy. We're always taking these notes. We're always storing things away. That's why I would ask, is it helpful for Dustin to deny something happening that did happen? Sometimes the answer to that is yes. Sometimes you have to block something from your memory. That did not happen. You have such a hard time of reconciling events from your past within your career or even in workouts that you got to block it like it did not happen. I'm wondering if this is one of those times. What does Dustin being hit by Conor and going down have to do with what he needs to do on January 23rd? Does he want to avoid some of those exchanges? Does he not want to make this about speed? Does he want to up his defense because of what he learned in the first fight? Or does he acknowledge if he gets hit and he goes down, he needs to do a better job of recovering? Dustin's going to get hit by Conor. Will it be in the same spot just as hard, having the same effect? If so, does he need to flick the fight, or can he recover once he goes to the ground, drag this on, and again, by the numbers, get out of the first? Which just historically ups your chances. Get out of the second. Now you've got a really good chance, not of winning the fight necessarily, but of not being finished within the fight, which apparently means that the power of Conor McGregor goes down, which apparently is fine. Plenty of athletes are like that. There's no insult. But they've got X amount of gas in the tank, and if you can get them to spend that gas a little bit early, it can pay off for you in later rounds. I would think that those things would be more important. I don't think that Dustin, I would disagree with Daniel here. I do not think that Dustin being successful on January 23rd against Conor McGregor in their second outing is incumbent upon Dustin lying to himself that he was caught the first time. At least not as important as it would be for Dustin to have stored things away, made some notes, and make sure he isn't caught a second time.